Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Stage of the Game. As always, you have me, Tony, and Jesse making the weird faces.
Yeah.
Like we do.
Like-
Heyo.
Ew.
Hey.
What up?
We are going to be talking this week about independent projects. So specifically we're talking about indie games and independent theater projects. And like what's special about them. Independent, normally the term independent projects refers to a project that's not backed by like a major donator or like a developer in terms of a game or something like that. This is like a small independent studio or theater group or whatever that's
Or sad
something a
little
lot of
person just trying
times
to
self-funded
make it happen.
or through Kickstarter, and a lot of times like it's at least in terms of like some of these theater terms, game terms, some of these projects won't turn out great, but sometimes you get like some really amazing things that come out of them. Jessie has done a number of independent projects herself. She's self-funded a few of her shows.
I love the faces. The faces you're making are the best.
Aw, shucks. I try. It's true. I do independent projects all the time because I can and I want to. And when somebody doesn't tell you yes, you can just tell yourself yes and make it happen and say what you want to say.
That is so motivational.
This podcast is technically an independent project because God knows we're not getting paid to do any of this.
Yep. Oh.
That's true.
Or
Sponsor
if you really want
us.
to, you can sponsor us.
Can you imagine if we were paid to do this?
Jesus Christ.
That'd be a sweet side gig.
That would be a great side gig.
Well, here's hoping. Lin-Manuel
Hey.
Miranda, if you're out there and can hear this, give us money.
Or Nintendo, or even Microsoft. I don't care. I'll plug anybody.
Would you even plug PlayStation?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, look at the
You know?
morals flying out the window.
Would you plug EA?
No.
That's the line.
That line. There it
There's that
is.
line, right there. Found it.
It's always
You
line.
searched for it, and there it was. Okay. So, you want to talk about your independent projects?
Oh, me?
Yeah, why not? You're the one who's done the most of them.
Yeah. Well,
I just go see them and play them. So
Yeah, but I'm a supporter of independent theater projects. I've not been involved in one.
Well, good call there. No, just kidding. They've been, some of the most meaningful experiences of my life because it's a passion project, right? You start with that. I'm doing it because I really, really want to do it. And it doesn't matter if no one pays me because that's not why I'm doing it. You're doing it because you have something to say, because you want to share something with people. And so you just force it to happen, which I'm great at. I'm great at forcing things to happen. Because there
This
are
is
always
why
good
she's a
people.
director.
It's true. I'm a really nice director, but underneath the kindness is like an iron will.
this is what I want. I just want you to find what I want. I don't want to have to tell you what to do. I want you just to know what I want you to do.
What I want. But yeah, I don't know. You have something to say, and so you go and you say it, and it's a way to get seen. It's a way to meet people, and there are always people who want to take on these projects with you. Even Owen helped me in my readings we were just talking about before this.
We
And New
were
York
both
is
unemployed at the time.
Yes, we were. But
There you
still
go.
making art, right? Because that's why
That's what you try to
we
do.
do it. It's
Mhm.
not for the money. If we wanted to make money, we would go be accountants. But we have something we want to say
God.
with our lives. And so why not just go make it happen?
I love accountants for being able to do something I will never be able to do, but also
The people I know who are accountants are like married and have like their own houses at this point. I'm like,
What are they?
I don't know. They seem pretty happy.
Yeah, there are
But
lots
when
of
I've
roads
been
to
happy,
happiness and no
I
judgment.
don't know.
And the accountants
I do
on
like
Parks and
math.
Rec always very happy. Is this the episode where we accidentally convince Owen to be an accountant? Because
God, I have to go back to
school.
school for forever. So no.
Forever.
I will tell you, my podcast friends, what my parents told me when I was down in the dumps about spending my time doing a lot of projects that don't make me any money. but they are satisfying. And they said to me, Jesse, just because society is not valuing what you do right now does not mean it does not have value. You know, like you put your own value on stuff. And those were valuable experiences. I met some of the most amazing people in the world. My work was seen, and even better, I saw my work, because when you have a script, it's not a play. You know what I mean? You've got to see it to know what's wrong with it. And then I know what's wrong with it, and then I can fix it. But staring at the script alone doesn't get you. At some point, you know, you hit a wall.
You need to see someone do it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And
I
so
hear that.
I love doing independent projects, and I love seeing what other people do with their indie projects, because you know how impossible it is to do, how many hours you work. When I did La Moped this summer, I mean, we would stay out at prod staff meetings after rehearsal until like 3 a.m. And then I would get up at 6 a.m. so that I could like go prop shopping before we started another day of 12 hours of rehearsal. And I was always there for every minute of it. So you know that when somebody does an indie project, it's because they care with like all of their heart and soul about something. And there's something I think really special about seeing like what people feel compelled to make, no matter what, even when no one is like, yeah, we'll help you. Yeah, we'll do it. You know, they're just like, I'll do it because I must or die, because this is my very lifeblood and I want to throw it on the stage in front of other people. So yeah, highly recommend. I've seen good indie projects. I've seen terrible indie projects. I've seen in-betweeners. Things where you're like, this was so good that it happened because there were good parts, and maybe now they'll like see what they need to do. There's a lot of creativity in the world.
Yeah.
And you know, to let go of financial success as well is like freeing, right? Because to make it to Broadway, you've got to hit like certain marks. You've got to be able to make the money for sure. And they want things that are like, you know, stable, or that have a name, or that have an actor. Yeah.
Guaranteed
but
money. Yeah.
Exactly. So when you let go of that, there could be more creativity. I mean, it'll probably be worse, but you're free. You can do what you want. No one's going to compromise your vision, because it's just you.
You get all this. You get to call all the shots. So
exactly. Yeah. And I would encourage everybody to see indie projects, because not only are they very interesting, even if just as like a page of somebody's life on the stage in front of you, but it will like mean a lot to the people involved. You know, it's always sad when nobody comes to see them. Luckily, that's never happened to me, but I have been, you know, in under 10 audience member audiences. And you're like, wow, if I wasn't here, this would be really sad. So check them out. People do interesting shit.
Support your artistic friends.
Yeah, they're trying. They're making something. And
what are you doing?
Yeah. It's easy to judge people, but it's hard to make something. Yeah. And that's always something to be proud of. Even if it's total shit. Like, you still did it.
You still did this thing.
You made something.
Good for you.
Hey.
Yeah. The big thing about independent projects, and people like to do independent projects, is because once someone who's like giving money or like producing gets involved, they feel like they should have a say in they want to change things.
It's my money. It's the same thing with politics. It's my money. Why aren't you doing what I want?
Mm-hmm. So that's like, that goes with theater, and it also goes especially with video games, which is why a lot of like studios like to do their own things. Like, this is the game we wanted to make. We don't necessarily want to have some big publisher telling us what to do, so we're just going to make this as our own fun project. A lot of big people who work at big development developers like work on their own independent projects as well, because it's just passion projects rather than doing big name things that they're just told, okay, this needs to be done, this and this and this and this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when things get too monetized, they can really lose a lot of the heart that's behind it, and it can be very sad.
Absolutely, and even like you said, they work on their own independent projects. I know one, it's called Platonic. It's people that used to work for Rare. If you remember those, Rare made a whole bunch of N64 games. The Banjo-Kazooie and 2E, those were their big ones.
They're now owned by Microsoft, I believe.
Platonic is, or Rare is. Rare is, but Platonic, we're like, we want to go back to what we used to make, and they're not letting us. So we're just going to take all these people and make our own. Yeah. And they did Ukulele, which is a lot of fun. It's very reminiscent of those old platformers, and I never actually beat it. Shame on me. But it's a lot of fun, and it's it's part of the nostalgia thing. But to plug that game, hey Playtonic, if you ever listen,
Hey.
I love your game. So, but yeah, that's really cool. Is they saw something, they saw something that they thought, and I think it was really successful. They saw something that they think people would want to play, but they're not being allowed to play. So it's the same thing as, to quote, robots, because you see a need, you fill a need. So you invent something that you think people need to see, or people need to be a part of.
That movie that's like between claymation and animation?
Yep.
The one with Ewan McGregor?
Yep.
Love Ian McGregor. Taking me back, Tony. Taking me way back.
You're welcome.
Now, indie games are pretty different from independent theater, because indie games, even like, there's a lot of indie games that the problem with independent theater is that like there's very few success stories of independent theater projects going to Broadway. Personally, I can't think of any. Back in the day, I'm sure there were. Nowadays, probably not so much. These things.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say completely independent. Absolutely, you can see all these like shows that started off in regional theaters, but those even regional theaters are so much more backed than anywhere else. It's just like well, Hamilton was in DC, Newsies started at Paper Mill, like just all these things that didn't just go straight to Broadway, but also
but they
still
started
had
regional. And that's
they started
the thing.
big regional theaters, yeah.
Yeah, probably. But is that where they started, or just like the first one that they mention where it started?
They get like that's like those are the first like major productions of it. So like these are things that have been like workshops.
There could be workshops, festivals. I know a lot of shows have started in like college settings.
True.
You know, as educational projects. But yeah, I really have no idea.
Now there are a lot of independent games that go on to get like bought out by big companies and become very, very, very successful. Probably the biggest video game, one of the biggest video games in current history right now. Minecraft started off as a small independent project and is now probably the biggest video game success story in the history of video games.
And I got it when it was cheap. and if you get it,
to be fair, it's still
if you
cheap.
got it when I know, but if you got it when it was cheap, yeah, it's for the playability of it, it's ridiculously cheap. But I got it when it was like $14, and now it's something like $26.
Yeah, I remember in college when I was in college.
Save those $10.
My friends were like, "You should get this game Minecraft," and I was like, "Okay, I'll pay
it's such
like $5
it's such a
for it."
big old time dumpster. Oh my god, it's...
Yeah. But now
I don't get it. I don't get Minecraft, guys. What's the appeal? Everything
It's
is
like
blocks.
Legos,
You just have
but
to
in
build
video.
things. But like, why?
Exactly. Did you ever play with Legos?
I loved Legos.
Say Jesse
as
and
a
I
kid.
once spent spring break in college playing Legos because we're nerds.
Legos are fun.
My parents
Don't
came
let
in
anybody
with
tell
us
you different.
playing Legos, and they're like,
Shit, that-
"You guys are like 21. Why aren't you at a bar?" I'm like,
And we were like, shut up.
No, shut up.
I'm
Shut
making a
up.
helicopter. It's very important.
Shut up, Legos. No, but like
Super fun.
to this day, my parents think I'm kidding when I ask for Legos for Christmas. Like, what do you want for Christmas? Lego.
Amazing. That one of the biggest scandals of my adult life is realizing how expensive they are
God.
/were. And I was like, why did you ever love me this much, parents? Like, you really didn't have to love me this much.
Yeah, they're unfortunately expensive. But
They but
they're so much fun. Anyway, this,
yes,
but Minecraft, exactly.
but yeah,
It's,
there are plenty of great independent projects that go on to be great. Like I said, Minecraft, Rocket League's a good example. 7 Days to Die, Dead by Daylight. These are games that I've just played that I know that are independent, but are getting a lot more notoriety now. Astroneer, technically PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds was an independent project at one point before it got bought out.
there's another survival one that's Ark.
Ark Survival, yeah, that was another small thing that became really big, and it's since died. But
Well, they released it too early, is what everyone keeps saying. Which is ridiculous because they finally released it because they finally released it. People stopped playing, and it was ridiculous because it was in beta for like 6 years.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, "Wait,
you want us to play $60
this be
for
better?"
this game that we'd paid $30 for? I don't think so.
They handled that poorly. But even then, there's so many different games like that are fun before they get this major
and
backing.
even there, like Steam is filled with games that you're never hear of that you can just like buy on a whim because they're so cheap. And
there's a cheap,
there's a lot of crap. There's a lot of crap in there. So much crap. But there's
also good
you're gonna find some good stuff in there too.
Yeah, I just started playing, as I told you guys, Don't Starve. By Don't Start, I just started. I mean, I played it for several weeks now, and I'm just starting to understand it. But it's super fun. Have you guys played it?
You're just now starting to not starve.
Yeah, exactly. Literally. I mean, I died a lot. Now I can live like over 20 days and have things like ice boxes and crock pots and drying racks. Because I figured out how to make oil. I know, I was just thinking that. I don't know why
Jesse,
I don't like
you sound like you're building stuff in a video
really
game.
Charming about Don't Starve, like aesthetically, I think. Maybe it's the blocks that turn me off, although I do like Legos. Because Don't Starve is like almost Tim Burton-y and like it's cartoony sort of.
That sounds
like,
horrifying.
Dark. It's super fun.
I built you a dungeon with a minecart in it.
And that was sweet. And like it was fun to play with you a little bit. But I could never imagine like me building a thing.
Building a tower, building a I love it. It's so much fun.
The thing about Don't Starve too is like it's so fleeting because when you die, it's gone. Like you don't save and like come back. Like you play until you're dead, and then it's gone. Like everything you made is gone. You can't go back there.
That's so sad.
Like it's a nice release of like, okay,
you know what?
I'll try again later.
I fucked up, but I'll be okay.
Legit, and there's a cool co-op mode. I think we should all play sometime because it's very cheap. I just played with Elisa, and it was actually way more fun with both of us. Also, she's really good at it.
Same thing with Minecraft, by the way. Much more fun with people.
Yeah.
People. It makes sense.
Because you can build stuff, steal stuff from each other. It's
but like
it's ridiculous.
Stakes, can you die? I mean, things can kill you. What happens if you die?
You lose all the stuff that you were carrying, and you need to go.
And you just come back. You keep going.
Yeah. But creepers can spawn and blow up all your shit, and you get really upset.
Yeah,
I've been working on this for 2 hours, and some fucking creeper came in and blew it all up.
It just blew up a hole in my house. Like, what the shit?
That actually happened to me once. I was working really late,
like
this really intricate like redstone like lever door thing, and this creeper came in and blew it all up. And
you can automate shit, and you can automate stuff, and like so much fun. You can pull a switch and then shit blows up because you had TNT. It's just it's so much fun.
I'm happy you guys are happy.
And my only real complaint, it's not even a justifiable complaint with Minecraft, is that children that are like 7 or 8 are much better at it than I am.
Yeah.
That's true for literally everything.
Just like
somewhere there's a child of 7 who can do whatever you do better than you.
When you try and like talk to like a 7 or 8-year-old about Minecraft, like saying, "Hey, it's something we can connect to," they suddenly are talking like all this shit. I'm like, okay, slow down.
Hey, how'd you do that?
I don't know. I don't understand.
I'm gonna start taking notes.
Where are we?
Children.
No, children love Minecraft.
It's fun though, and I totally understand why. And
yeah, clearly there's an appeal. Otherwise, it wouldn't have blown up the way it did.
Yeah. But I wish that there was more appeal for independent theater like that. So
yeah. Well, I think it's easier too to like measure, right? Because you make a game and you can put it out there and it just exists, and if it gets popular, somebody's going to buy it from you.
That's a great
theater
thing about
exists
Steam.
over like such a small amount. Like even if you sell out your performances, and I have sold out my performances, it's still 3 performances, like in a theater for 89 seats. So you've got your 300 people, a little less, that you've affected. And that's good. I mean, every time you do that, you get things out in the world, but there's no way to like measure what you've done. And if producers miss that, they can't see it now. It's already gone.
It's over,
Exactly. It's so fleeting, which is the nature of theater, what makes it great. And I think that every time you do it, you're going to gain a little bit of interest in your project, but to gain as much, like it doesn't sit there. It's an opportunity, and like you better bust your ass to get people in those doors, because otherwise, why are you doing it? You're just screaming into a void.
And I think that's why independent theater gets such a bad rap, is because a lot of the times it's people screaming into the void. I think it's the same with independent games, but it's also got a really bad rap for independent theater. This is really bad, and it's going to be really bad because no one really wants to invest in it.
Yeah.
Independent theater gets made fun of so much on like in TV and other things like that, where you see like, oh, like the group goes to their friend's independent theater show and it's them doing like all this avant-garde shit and whatnot, and like that's not all. That's not what improv theater. Well, that's some independent theater. That's what it is. Some of you will it will be that bad.
I very recently just saw a piece of independent theater that was like really pretentious, and I thought it had like a crumb of like something really good. But it was just like...
It was just so pretentious.
So pretentious. I mean, I think it's probably going to be useful to that group of people to like have tried to say something. And I think they made something visually cool. But I'm all about story. Anyway, not naming names for this because...
Go support independent theater projects.
Yeah, because it's the same with games. If you like the developer, buy their games. If you like...
Absolutely.
I would be remiss if I didn't plug... my friend Lee's game. Speaking of nostalgia, he has a fun story, and I wanted to get him on this, but he's currently in Texas and leaving really early in the morning. So he was like, I'm gonna go to sleep. So, but he moved down to Texas and spent 3-4 months just making a video game, and it's called Destroy Space Aliens. It's awesome, and he wrote it. He completely wrote the story, wrote the music, which I think is awesome, and like coded it and all that stuff by himself. And just because it was something he wanted to do, and he had little else to do, but that's still so cool. And he loves it. And he says, it's not about the money. It would be because I wish it would sell like gangbusters, but it's not about the money. It's he wanted to do it. It's something he always wants to do, and he has always wanted to have a video game, and now he has a video game on Steam, and that's so cool. And
that's so cool and so valuable. And even if you don't reach 1 million people, even if you reach 100 people or 50 people, like you have affected some people.
Yeah,
like so, that's
and like
beautiful.
The fact that I'm talking about it, it's fun. Yeah, he's a friend of mine, but still, it's.
But he made something that you think is cool, and now you get to play it. And he made that. There was nothing. Look, he made a hat where there never was a hat. Thank you, Stephen Sondheim.
I like that. I love that. You made a hat where there wasn't a hat. I might steal that in a class I teach, because that's kind of cool.
You can steal it, but just credit Stephen Sondheim. Oh God.
I forgot about that.
So. I love it. I have his books right over here, but I won't show you because there's also dishes. There's also grapes. And like my plant wrapped in a scarf. It's like a weird side table kind of day for me.
Why is your plant wrapped in a scarf?
It was like cold.
I have some questions.
I like really care about him. Anyway, that's irrelevant. We'll do a tell-all plant episode 60 years from now. Or if you comment asking for it.
Asking for an all-plant episode.
That would be really strange, guys. I hope you don't, and I trust you won't, but we're here for that feedback. Oh, yeah.
An all-plant episode. Next week.
No.
Owen's like, no, we're not doing that.
We have new ideas for episodes in the works. People we want to bring on and stuff like that. I just found a coworker of mine who I knew he played a lot of video games, and so I told him about the podcast. I'm like, that's so cool. I'm like, is it though? Even I really don't think it's that cool.
We do it because we.
But Owen, you made something. There was nothing, and you made something.
Yes.
And that's
is it
beautiful.
Cool?
Well,
is it nerdy? Yes.
Say what cool is.
I mean, yeah.
But he said he'd like to be on at one point, so.
Bring him on.
Yeah, we have fun ideas for new things we're gonna try.
We still want to hear what you.
Yes, what do you want us to see us do? Because literally no one has said anything.
Odds are, at this point, we'd probably do it.
Yeah.
So.
Well. We're getting real open-ended over here.
Well, literally, no one has given us any suggestions, so we have no basis of knowing whether or not we would do it. So,
absolutely true.
Which is really scary.
If you're gonna pay us, we'll do a lot for money.
There's just a lot of like subtext one could read into.
There's no such thing as sexual harassment in theater.
That's not true.
I know it's not true.
Super...
We've had this discussion. No.
I know there is. I know.
We've literally talked about this.
We had a whole episode dedicated to.
We had a whole episode about this. Jesus, Owen.
Well, if you're still watching this,
God bless you.
Thank you for putting up with us.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Tell us who you are. Show yourself. Because we want to do what people want to hear. We talk about that too. Is we want to show people what they want to see, and
like we do this for fun at this point, but like,
yeah, we're not breaking any grounds or anything. It's
yeah, if you want to see us try something, we're looking into trying to like all play games together, figuring out how that would work. We have more projects in mind for like when we did the Drunk Shakespeare or something similar. Maybe it's not as a hot mess, but something similar.
No more of a hot mess. Take it further.
Drink
more.
Drink the bottle. And
we're gonna try new things to try and get more people to at least take a peek and see like, what's this?
Watch a couple minutes, turn it off. That's fine.
On YouTube, it still counts as a view.
Yes, it does.
It means someone clicked the link.
So support indie projects like this here now.
Yeah.
A nice self-serving episode.
Yeah.
And if we don't say it, if we don't get the happy holidays, everybody.
Yes, and
quick
before I forget, happy almost birthday to Jesse.
AJ. Not a fan.
Jesse's
but thank you.
birthday is on Wednesday.
Ooh.
It is on Wednesday.
I won't say her age because I'm not sure if she'd be comfortable saying it.
So many years. I could be 1,000, but older.
That doesn't make any sense.
Less than a month older. No, she's a little over a month older than me. So.
I know how old Owen is. I feel so young.
So you figured out my age. Is Tony the youngest?
Tony's the youngest. He's a baby.
I'm a baby.
Would be the oldest, but she's not here.
One of these days.
She'll be back. They all come back.
They always come back.
And by all, I mean...
Please come back.
Come back.
And by all, I mean please come back. We miss you.
I am excited for only one reason for my birthday, which is that I already have tickets to see Star Wars.
So good.
So good.
Wednesday.
We
Very
could have
excited.
We could have a specific...
We could. If you were listening to this and didn't like the episode, I can prove to you in so many different ways why you're wrong. So...
People are entitled to their
but
opinions, but personally... But I don't understand all the hate behind it. I really loved it. I thought it was one of the best ones I've seen in a long time.
I agree. I will say, without any spoilers, they take more risks.
I'll kill you if you spoil it.
They take more risks in this episode than they have in the entire saga so far.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It blew my mind because it was something I wasn't expecting, and that's something I don't come to expect from Star Wars. Star Wars usually follows a very strict guideline of things and
predictability, and
it was so good.
Okay, we'll stop.
Yeah, we're not a Star Wars podcast.
we will stop because this is not a Star Wars podcast. Although
it could be.
More people
Do you
probably
want it to be? Let us know.
If you want to hear a Star Wars podcast, we'd be happy.
I do know a lot about Star Wars. Yes. I'm not gonna lie.
We have so many opinions.
We do.
I have a whole shelf of Star Wars novels.
They're so good. Most of them aren't canon anymore,
yes,
but they're so
good. They're not canon at all.
I've only read one Star Wars book, and that was the one with zombies in it because it's me. And it was terribly written, but
yeah, the zombies.
But yeah, we all have opinions.
I'm gonna keep saying goodbye.
Yes.
Until we actually.
Okay. We plan to have an episode next week for the holidays, but if not, then happy holidays for whatever you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate, then enjoy your hopefully time off.
Maybe.
And if you're Jewish, enjoy Hanukkah right now.
Oh my God!
Day 6, my folks.
Is it day 6? Please.
Yeah.
Where does the time go?
Yeah, it is day 6. Crazy.
To make faces.
Bye.